Let's rank every evolution skill in Survivorio on a tier list, depending on how good or bad they are at killing bosses. I don't have every legend grade tech part, and I don't think anyone does, but I do have every epic grade tech part. So this tier list will be based off of epic grade tech parts, and the testings other players and I have done with them. Like and subscribe, let's go. Starting off in the C tier, we have the Magnetic Rebounder, Force Barrier, and Defender. The Magnetic Rebounder spins around you and doesn't deal enough damage, nor have enough range. Although it may have more range than the Destroyer at times, which is ranked higher on the list, the Rebounder simply cannot compete against a constant barrage of homing missiles. And that goes for everything else in the C tier. Range and a lack of real single target attack power is what holds them back. The Force Barrier does pair up with the Energy Drink passive skill, which can sometimes be useful if you need to heal before you reach a boss. But the Force Barrier lacks range and attack damage output. And just like with everything else in the C tier, the Defender doesn't have the range nor attack power to drain the life of a boss like those ranked higher than it, but it can still deal damage and provide support. In the B tier, we have the Caltrops, Fuel Barrel, 1-ton Iron, and Death Ray. You can control the Caltrops a little more with the Nanobot, and this allows you to focus on hitting bosses with it instead of letting it roam in the distance. It works pretty well against bosses in square chapters where room to run around is minimal, but it's not as effective as the skills ranked above it. I like the Fuel Barrel more than most people when it comes to killing bosses, and I probably would have ranked it in the A tier if I didn't think people would yell at me in the comments. The Energy Diffuser causes the fire to spread, which can pretty much keep the battlefield on fire and the boss under constant heat. If you get the angles right, the 1-ton Iron can deal pretty good damage to a boss. And the Brick, the unevolved version of the 1-ton Iron, isn't too bad itself. I like them. That's it. The Death Ray is also another skill I probably like more than other people. I even love to use it against mobs, and with the Annihilator, it will slow enemies in range. But when it comes to bosses, mostly in later chapters, it doesn't really deal enough damage, and you have to kite the boss or get it to chase you to be effective. In the A tier, the Quantum Ball, Whistling Arrow, and Shark Maw Gun. The Quantum Ball is capable of dealing a high amount of damage to a single target, and the movement speed increase gained by the compatible passive skill used to evo the soccer ball can be helpful when evading attacks. The Whistling Arrow will quickly home in and deal damage to a boss, and the Antimatter Generator makes it 30% faster, but it doesn't have the power of the skills above it. The Shark Maw Gun can target bosses and explode on impact, dealing a decent amount of damage, and the High Maintainer tech part reduces its cooldown, making it fire faster. While the Shark Maw Gun will automatically target and fire at a boss, it does have the potential to miss. Finally, in the S tier, the best Evo skills for killing bosses in Survivorio, the Supercell and Destroyer. The Phase Converter turns the Supercell into a menace, appending a bonus bolt to its attack, making it deal extra damage. The Supercell can completely wipe out bosses from a distance, and it's always a great choice to go with. In addition, the Energy Cube gives you a cooldown reduction passive skill, making the Supercell fire even quicker. The Destroyer is an absolute boss killer, and with an excellent grade precision device, it will fire homing missiles that will automatically hit a boss if they're in range. Not only that, the fire rate will be increased, making it fire a lot faster. To use the Destroyer effectively, you need to be close to your target and follow it around in order to keep the hitboxes on it, and this is often easier said than done. In addition, the Evo skills in the C tier are there because I don't think they have the range and damage combination capable of being useful against bosses, but they can be helpful if you plan to use the Destroyer as a primary weapon, since they have similar range. I just wanted to mention that, although the Rebounder, Barrier, and Defender are in the C tier, they can still be useful when killing bosses. There's a drastic difference between the Supercell and the Destroyer, and that is range. While both Evo skills have auto-aiming capabilities, the Supercell's range makes it easier to use. You can essentially sit back in the distance and evade attacks while it goes to town on the boss. However, the Destroyer is capable of dealing massive damage in bulk, and some players find it more potent. I personally like them both, and that's why they're both in the S tier. They're both the best boss killing Evo skills in the game, and if you're having trouble dealing damage to bosses, look for them and pair them up with compatible equipment and passive skills. If you need more tips like chapter walkthroughs and other tier lists, check out the other videos on this channel and make sure to subscribe. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. See you later.